Pastor Scott, and then I'll ask Katie and Teslin to react. Pastor Scott, thank you so much for joining us tonight. You've been right in the middle of this conversation about politics and race. I just would love your thoughts on where we stand right now. You've seen over this weekend, even though the demonstrations, as we've just discussed, were a bit of a washout, you see people taking this opportunity to criticize the president over race and his attitudes. What do you make of it all?
Well, first of all, I think it's very unfortunate that there is a faction in America that wanted violence and bloodshed today. They wanted chaos, confusion, rioting, just so they could have a reason to accuse the president or blame the president for this. You know, the KKK has been rallying for decades, and it hasn't drawn this much attention. They're actually glad that they're receiving the amount of attention that they're receiving from, once again, that faction that wants racial division. I don't think the racial divide in America is as pronounced as the left-wing media would try to make it appear to be. They're using race as a political ploy to garner votes. But, you know, the black people in America aren't getting up in the morning saying, I hate all the white people. The white people aren't getting up in the morning saying, I hate all the black people. America's going on, it's going to continue to go on. Once again, as you said, the land of the free, the home of the brave. But it's not as, the divide is not what the left-wing media would endeavor to make it appear to be.
And it seems to me that the unifying thing here is that people want, as I was just saying, people want opportunity. They just want a shot at a decent life. And that has been denied to so many. And that's why I'm really interested in the work that you're doing. And let's be clear, commissioned by President Trump, right, to restore opportunity in African-American communities. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, absolutely. We've begun the Urban Revitalization Coalition. It's going to be the most ambitious public-private partnership regarding urban revitalization in American history. We have a number of partners that are working with us to go in and revitalize the blighted areas of this country. We're working with those that will specialize in blight removal. Then we're going in with developers to put in housing, rehabilitate some housing, some new housing, urban retail outlet centers, health and wellness, youth empowerment centers. There's a 13-point component to this, and what we're trying to do is completely revitalize America's urban areas. Listen, when I first met President Trump over maybe around 7 years ago, and he and I discussed the conditions that were existing in the urban communities, he said to me then, he said, I really believe unemployment, underemployment, and depressed living conditions contribute to a lot of the crime and chaos that the urban community encounters. If we can create jobs, if we can create better jobs, if we can create better living conditions, he said, I really believe it would go a long way towards solving some of the ills of the urban community. And he said this to me 7 years ago, and we're seeing this plan, this initiative being implemented now.
Don't you think that that is a perfect illustration of the disconnect often between the way that some people focus entirely on words and what is said and whether the exact right words were used in any particular moment versus actions, real actions for real people?
Absolutely. Donald Trump is not a politician. He's a businessman who became president. He's project-oriented. He's goal-oriented. Oftentimes he's blunt, he's brash. He's been compared to Winston Churchill in that respect. But he gets the job done. As far as these racist allegations against him, it's nonsense. In fact, you know, a common joke around this administration, even during the campaign, was that, you know, you have an open door to the president. He favors you. He never refuses you anything. You know, and so I know for a fact he's not a racist. I've been with him in public. I've been with him in private. And you know, I've had some so-called black leaders who I know to be race baiters have said things to me like, well, where's his plan for black America? And I asked him, why would you want a guy that you say is a racist make a plan for your community? He's not a racist. And those allegations are ridiculous. But we're working together, hand in hand, with the White House. And he's giving me all the latitude and the green light that I need to try to help him fulfill his campaign promises to revitalize urban America. And we're going to do a tremendous job. And the I's are being dotted, the T's are being crossed, policy has been written, executive orders are being prepared. When this thing rolls out, this is going to be a very, very beneficial
I can't resist asking you, it's like we're out of time, but like, when do you think that's going to be? You've got a date
Very
set for
soon. Very, very soon. I mean, we've acquired some property. We're working with some governors of different states. We have 3 states already lined up that we're going to be breaking ground very, very soon.
Okay, interesting.
I just don't want to, I don't like making premature announcements. We want to come out with a bang.
I know. We always want the premature announcements on our shows. Anyway, Pastor Scott, thank you so much for joining us. Come back and tell us when there's news. Really appreciate you
You'll be
being
the
with us.
first one. You'll
All
be
right.
the first one we tell.
Good to see you.